So on with kind of the main topic of the evening is which games that we've played that have elicited the most emotion from us while playing them, which games have taken our hearts and ripped them out of our chests and left us crying in a puddle of our own sick on the floor or something like
Close
that.
to that, yeah.
Maybe
Right.
not quite that, but something to that effect. So, Mike, you want to kick us off?
Sure. Well, I'm going to start with the most recent, actually, and that is Spec Ops: The Line, which I just completed. I'm not going to say too much about it because it is fairly new, and I don't want to spoil a whole lot. But there is one particular moment that just kind of struck me down and made me kind of look away from the screen. And that was a part of the game where you had a decision whether or not to use mortars to take out the enemy, and I did choose to do that, and I did not realize that there were also innocent people in that portion of the game. And during that, there was a mother holding her child, and these mortars were, I believe it was some kind of phosphorus gas that was released upon detonation, and it burned everybody up, including the mother holding her child, and they showed that in the scene. It didn't bring me to tears, but like I said, it did make me look away from the screen.
Stop and think for a second. Yeah,
absolutely.
Games like Call of Duty, or even Battlefield, where it's just you see heads and people running everywhere, and everyone's wearing a uniform, and everyone's got a gun, and if they're moving, they're your enemy. That's not how war works in the real world. So
right,
absolutely. It did bring some definite realism to the game, I think. With how stuff like that actually goes.
Mm-hmm.
So that did hit me in a funny way. Not that I was depressed at that point, but I was just like, oh man, that makes me feel bad.
You had to cry in the corner for a while.
Yeah, I did have to cry in the corner for a while.
Obviously, I kind of was very tongue in cheek about what I was saying about the emotion, obviously, but damn, that I could see how that would really. Not bring a guy to tears, right? I mean, because obviously, I think realize as you're playing it, it's a game and whatnot. But that would certainly give me pause.
Yeah,
it did.
And I think it's the Call of Duty Battlefield mentality. You didn't expect that to happen. I think is what it was just.
You definitely did not. 100% did not expect that to happen.
Gung ho, destroy the enemy, and that's all you cared. So
And that's not the only moment like that in the game. That's the only one I'm going to share at this particular time, because it is
next
new.
on my list of games I want to play. Actually, so.
Yes, and I do highly recommend it. Despite the criticism that it's had.
Good.
And despite the fact, I think I can't remember, but I think maybe the first time that you brought that game up, you were less than thrilled with the game, which is actually one of the reasons why you went to Skyrim.
No, absolutely. That's 100% true. And that is one thing to say about this podcast in general. I can say that I think the only reason I finished that game was because of the podcast. So that's good. And I'm really, really glad that I did finish it.
Yeah, no, I don't own that game, and I can honestly say that now I very much want to, especially considering what you said. It's a 5-6 hour campaign, so it's not like it's a big time suck of a commitment either. But that there is kind of enough for me to want to say, hey, for the right price, I think I want to get that. And I honestly think that Casey, you kind of implored me to get it, and I kind of just ignored you on that one.
Yeah,
yeah, and I think it was only $5-6 on sale. It was definitely reasonable.
It was not just the fact that it was a mother. I think imagine it was the fact that she had a child.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
that's the main point that gets you? Especially I think it'll hit probably people with children more than others that don't have them. And that's kind of the you know, you have that split second thought, and you're like, oh man, what if that was me holding my daughter or my son, you know? And that's just an awful feeling for a split second.
This is something I was going to talk about when I was talking about my games, but that's a good moment to bring it up. Is lightly touch on it anyway. Is that I think the emotional moments or the moments that give me pause in these games have changed as I've grown and have hit different stages in my life. You know, when I was, 14, 15-year-old, that moment might not have hit me as hard as I say now when I have kids. You know what I mean? And back when I was younger, adventurous worlds or exploration, that kind of stuff might have stirred me a little more. So a lot of the games that have hit me emotionally might not have hit me as if they came out today versus when I was 14 or 15 years old. So.
Is anyone else lagging?